What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. We are talking about George and Claude's newest creation, which per Claude Deer is one of his greatest creations. That's a big, bold statement from a man that's been a master perfumer for over 5 decades, right? That's his words. He calls it a masterpiece. And look, I'm not going to argue with the man. This is some best-in-class darker woody musk. It's light meets dark. I'll explain further as we get through it. But we are talking about the new and upcoming SERAPHIM Musk. We've got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned. So before we get started, as per usual, my typical disclaimer, because George is my best friend, there's natural bias. I mean, it is what it is. I want to see him do well, but I never tell you guys anything that I don't actually think about these fragrances. This is one that I've been most excited about since Precious Treasure. Much more excited for this than 2010. Much more excited for this than Bazan. Like, this is... I've been waiting on this one to come around. This was going to be my favorite release other than my own that's coming later this year from Zaharoff. So take my opinions with a grain of salt. This is my true feelings and experience with the fragrance. There's going to be a pre-sale price and you save 10% with the link down below. I do earn a commission if you use the link, but that pre-sale price and discount code is for those that are going to buy it anyway. They know their taste. They're confident in their blind buying abilities with their taste. So if you're interested and you want to wait, don't just buy it just to buy it. Don't feel the FOMO. Wait until it releases later this month and buy a sample and check it out for yourself. Don't just let me be the end-all be-all. While I do appreciate the trust that a lot of you put in me, be your own judge, right? So with that said, and all the common sense, obvious things that people should know regardless, right? But hey, it is what it is, right? Let's take a look at this fragrance because once again, we got a lot to go over. So we'll look at the boxes first, which is my favorite. Reflective, blue, and teal. Of course, George had to put himself on it. I just love how he always mixes himself into this. Unbelievable work this time. So you can see the other part of the Seraphim Angel comes around. Now both have the plate. I know a lot of people love when the 2 ounces have the plate as well. So the 2 ounce and the 4 ounce both have the plate. God, the color scheme here. So you'll notice it's a familiar color scheme, the Seraphim Blue, but it's reflective metallic and different tones to teal, blue, and green, right? So, oh, incredible. So let's go ahead and pull out these bottles. Does that cap look familiar? Does it remind you of anything? Second Soul. So there's the 2 ounce. That is what I've been spraying, is the 2 ounce. This is going to be the main thing we're going to be showcasing and talking about, but I will show you guys the 4 ounce bottle first, just so you can take a look at it. Look at this. This is my favorite signature packaging he's ever done. I love it. I love the color scheme to it. I love that it's metallic reflective. Metal plate, Seraphim Musk, has the teals, the greens, the blues. I love it. I love it. Chrome metallic mirrored finish on the cap. Look at this juice color. It's an even prettier tone blue than Seraphim Blue. It's more of a sky turquoise, almost kind of blend. I love it. Absolutely love it with a black atomizer. Nice touch. And again, I've never even sprayed the 4 ounce. I smell it coming out the atomizer. You have it on the 2 ounce as well, which is what, like I said, what I've been spraying. This is the 2 ounce, same metal plate. Exactly the same, just in a 2 ounce bottle instead of a 4 ounce bottle. You see that juice level has started to drop. Last 3 days, I've been spending a lot of time with this. A lot of time. I'm going to be wearing it again today. I wore it to the gym yesterday. I wore it out the shower. Wore it during the day. I wore it the night before. I've been spraying. I've clocked it. I didn't refresh yesterday from in the morning on my forearms. We'll dive into all that. So I'll have the notes on screen for you guys. So like I mentioned earlier, light meets dark. What do I mean by that? That's an interesting statement, right? So the pink pepper cardamom, you would think is going to be very spicy at the top. Pinch of spice. It's the same pink pepper that's used in Seraphim Red. So it's that sweet pepper, that sweet red pepper. But even then, it's not loads of sweet. It's a sweeter spice than it is a spicy spice. That makes sense. And it's extremely aromatic. Effervescent and bright, if you will. I thought there might have potentially been some aldehydes in here. It's so effervescent and bright. The musk that Claude used here is a Tibetan musk. It's a deer musk that's not really all that creamy. And once I did some research on the type of musk, it made sense as we get into the dry down, this slight chocolatey accord. Turns out that's a characteristic of this musk. And it's not like chocolatey patchouli. It's not like cacao pod or bar chocolate. See, well, as we dive into the deeper dry down, I'll explain further what I mean by that. But up top, you're going to get hit with this vibrant, bright, uplifting light side of this fragrance because it's a dark wood, black leather base with a bright, slightly animalic musk. It's not super creamy animalic deer musk. It is a deer musk, alpine deer musk from Tibet, but it's just got a little bit of an animalic edge. It's a cleaner musk. It's definitely the clean side of this fragrance. It adds to that light side that I was speaking on. With that nice hit, there's a light earthy tone. I'm sure that's the cypriol oil. And that pink freesia. Freesia in general tends to freshen things up. Claude is notorious in his creations for using some form of freesia to freshen a fragrance up. He's told me himself he loves to do that to freshen things up without having to add overloads of citrus or loads of fresh molecules like ambroxan and ambergris and things like that, unless the fragrance calls for it. This fragrance doesn't call for it. So that's the difference in a master perfumer and some random enthusiast content creator, right? I wouldn't think that because it's not my thing. I'm not the artist, right? He's very talented the way he balanced this because you get that musk the whole way through. I would say about 3 hours or so is about how long it takes for that pink pepper to calm down. The pink pepper cardamom combo that gives it this bright, aromatic, sweet, pinched spice type of smell. And again, you cruise right through the heart. Even though there's some florals here, it doesn't really smell flowery at all. This is a very masculine fragrance. Where Royale X, I still think, is the younger man's entry-level cleaner musk fragrance to introductory into the Zaharoff house as a whole, let alone the signature line. I think this is more, I'm not saying the younger fellas won't enjoy this that enjoy Royale X, but this is for you guys that want that more masculine tone to it, that more grown-up feel to your musk fragrance, where it's still clean, but it's got animalic tones to it. I would consider this like an oriental musk because it's so woody resinous. As we get into that dry down, ebony wood, star of the show here, with the musk, you get this light chocolatey dark wood smell that's still quite musky, and it's like a light piece of black leather, this leather accord. And whatever is in there to create that leather accord is where I think my incense is coming from. Because I've held off on talking about the incense, but there's an incense, a smoky nuance from start to finish. It's not smoky like the over-the-top smokiness of a signature extreme. Not that kind of smoky, but a nice light nuance. Nothing's too heavy in this fragrance. Nothing kind of jumps out and says, this is my show completely, aside from, if I had to pick the main players here, the stars of the show are the musk and the ebony wood. And they do a great job because that's the majority of the life of the fragrance. Again, that soft leather accord, light incense smokiness, and you get this darker wood element, light chocolatey hit, still very musky. That musk never changes, really. It's basically from start to finish. It manages to keep that light brightness. You get more of the brightness up top, but even in the deeper dry down, many hours in, that musk that's used, I believe, is the culprit that manages to keep just enough brightness to this dry down. This fragrance is pretty easy to understand if you're familiar with picking out accords and notes. I mean, not the most seasoned nose on the planet. I'm not the biggest, most incredible seasoned nose ever. I've smelled some things, but and I can pick a few things out here and there, but I think it's a pretty easy fragrance to understand while having a certain level of depth a rich character to this fragrance that I think a lot of people will be able to appreciate. It's actually a slightly darker fragrance than the color scheme will indicate, but the opening has the brightness that matches it. But some of this always stays present, that brightness, that lighter side to this. It never loses the light meets dark element that I keep mentioning. I love the way this smells. This is hands down top 5 from the house. This is up there with Seraphim Blue, which is my favorite fragrance. This, of course, both the rose fragrances, Rosé Black Rose. I also think it's up there with Precious Treasure. I think that bunch is my 5, right? And that excludes the tobaccos. That bumps the tobaccos. That bumps Aurum. That bumps Royale X. That bumps Citrine. That bumps so many great fragrances. Because I do think it is some of the house's best work. Some of Claude and George's best work, both from an olfactive profile, storytelling aspect, the visual and audible side of things, because George has a very specific inspiration for this musk and for this particular theme, and then the brilliance of his design work. I'm just a sucker for this. I don't know how many of you think this is incredible. I sure as shit think this is absolutely stunning. This is so cool looking to me. I think they did an incredible job here. It smells fantastic. It is one that I think you can wear year round. I think muggy, super high humidity, probably not the best time. Outside of that, I think you can wear it for anything. Casually dressed up, dates, professionally, spring, hot summer days, sure, and summer nights, absolutely. But again, if you're in a super humid climate, maybe the dog days of summer isn't the best for this. But fall, transitional seasons, that light to dark element. I was talking to Dave Cali yesterday, and that's when I mentioned light to dark. He mentioned that transitional seasons from the winter to the spring, from the spring to the summer to the fall to the winter. That makes sense. So shout outs to Dave Cali. He totally got where I was going with the description. But very much the case. I think this is true signature scent worthy for someone that wants something different, because it doesn't remind me of any one fragrance. I can't relate it to anything. I'm not saying some of you that try this won't be like, I kind of get elements of this or kind of get elements of that. You might. We're always reaching, looking to tie something for relatability. So I get that. I just can't think of anything. I haven't tried anything that smells anything remotely close to this. I am a huge fan of the way this smells. But let's talk performance. This is a long video. They usually are when I got a lot to say, right? Now, performance, it's not an overwhelming beast, but it's super long lasting. It's an eau de parfum. I forgot what the oil concentration is. I believe 20%. I got to double check, George. I know you'll see this. Comment down below. What percentage is it? I don't remember. I know it's an eau de parfum. One moment, please. It just shows eau de parfum. So I got the notes right here on my phone. 8+ hours easy. And for those of you familiar with the way I break it down, that's well beyond 8 hours, right? I clocked on my forearms yesterday from 8 in the morning till I took my shower at 9:30 that night. It was still going pretty well. The sillage on it is moderate. Moderate the whole way. Non-stop. Constantly there. Constant reminders, not just light whiffs. I don't go nose blind to it. Yay. I just don't. I'm not saying you won't or you will. I don't. That's awesome. So for that, I ain't spraying up here, because then it'll just, every fragrance to me is obnoxious after several hours. I don't want to non-stop smell something for 8, 9, 10 hours. I want to break from it. So let's discover it. Let's keep it on the forearms. Let's keep it side and back of the neck and stuff like that. I don't want, if I'm going to go nose blind, it's fine. We can spray up here. No big deal. Don't matter. Or if it's real light and airy, whatever. But something that's going to stay with me that I'll always smell the entirety of the life of it. I don't want to just live in it nonstop. So be wary of that. Unless you just like want to, for 10 hours straight in your day, want to smell it nonstop. Like every time you breathe through your nose, you're smelling it. That's my experience here. So this one, so keep that in mind. Sillage here, I would say moderate, not overwhelmingly moderate heavy. But projection here, again, I go into that moderate to heavy early and then actually stays pretty moderate. It just transitions smoothly right into that sillage. I would say about 2 hours solid of a more moderate to heavy type of projection, because it's so bright and uplifting with the use of heavier oils. That's the thing. It's a bright fragrance that's using a lot of heavier oils at a pretty high oil concentration. It's not a pure parfum, but it's a higher level eau de parfum. So it manages to have the brightness with a full-bodied like note pyramid. It's very interesting. So across the board, this is, I wouldn't call a beast. If you're a heavy sprayer, I'm sure it's a monster. But for the way I spray, I've been doing 5 to 7 sprays for this. Actually, I did 9 sprays yesterday because I did 2 on each forearm and I did 5 around the neck. That was how I started my day, and I went through the day with that. So, and that was a lot. It really was. It's more than usual. I'll probably stick to the 5 to 7 spray range. Let's call it 5 to 9. That'll always be the range it'll fall into for me. So keep that in mind. It's above average across the board. I wouldn't call it a beast unless you dial those sprays up. Everything's a beast when you dial the sprays up. So that's been my experience thus far. No guarantees you'll get that, but I'm pretty confident you'll probably get that. So long video, they always are, because I'm part of the testing process. I've been through I think it's only been 2 renditions, if I remember correctly, only 2 modifications from its initial inception. Because when Claude made all of these that are coming from Seraphim, they were all so good. George was like, I got to release all of these. I can't pick. I remember when he sent me the first batch, he was like, I can't pick, because we got the vetiver fragrance, Kus coming, Kus, however you say it, next year, the earthy vetiver fragrance. That's the 4th Seraphim. All 4 were so good. Red, blue, musk, and Kus, I always forget how to pronounce it, were all so good. George was like, I'm going to release a series of these. They're all based around a similar DNA. The difference here is you lose that aquatic, minty freshness of red and blue. I forgot to mention that. It's not aquatic. It's not eucalyptus minty. They're not real green. Cypriol and cardamom's really the only kind of green notes here. I don't find it green at all. Again, it's a oriental musk fragrance, very bright, vibrant, sweet spice aromatic at the top, more sweet and aromatic. And I don't mean vanilla sweet. I mean pink peppered sweet, pink peppercorns, and just a little bit of it. I really don't get the citrus. And then it's all about that musk from start to finish. Ebony wood, light black leather, hint of incense smokiness throughout the life. This stuff is incredible. I think it's going to be a hit for George. I told George, you got a hit. You're going to sell all of these damn things. Whether I'm sparking your interest initially, those of you that do get it, I was telling Dave Cali this yesterday and George this, I'm going to spark the interest. That's what I do. Because I'm the first to talk about it. So if you value my opinion or you like what you're hearing from me, it's going to spark your interest. And those of you that decide to get it and or get a sample later, once you get it, you going to sell all these bottles out. You gonna. All of you watching that end up because a lot of you are going to like this fragrance. Because that's the thing in this online community. People talk about what they like, right? You get it, you're excited, you get it. To smell it, you just want to share your experience with others. And again, I mentioned earlier, don't let me be the end-all be-all. I never am. I shouldn't be, because once the initial lot of you get this, you guys are going to share your experience and others are going to want to hear more and more opinions. And that's just how it goes. It's the trickle effect. It's how hype builds. It's how all these things happen. And I think this is a hype-worthy, simple yet brilliantly deep, light meets dark fragrance. Kudos to George Zaharoff and Claude Deer for this creation. This is a long video. I appreciate all of you that stuck with me the whole way through. These Zaharoff reviews tend to be long because, again, from inception to final production, I'm usually involved. On 99.9% of the time, I'm involved, no matter how many years that extension goes. Because this was originally created over 2 years ago, was when these Seraphims came about. And excellent stuff. Again, there's a link down below right now at the recording of this. When this comes out, at least a week, it's going to pre-sale at a discounted pre-sale price, and then my link will save you another 10% on top of that. It's the cheapest you'll get the fragrance for, period, end of story, long term. So those of you that always get it early, there you go. I'm sure you already did it before I even finished this video. When launch happens, he didn't tell me the exact date. It will be this month. It's within the next 2 weeks, I would say. Every time the launch day hits, samples will be available on the site. The 3 ml spray samples that go for $7 before the 10% off. So if you want to wait. Don't feel like you have to rush out. Yeah, you get it a little cheaper. You'll save $30, $40 or whatever it is now. But unless you're absolutely certain, money's money. Wait and get a sample, right? If you're interested, you're interested. If you're not, you're not. Maybe you saw this video and you're like, doesn't sound like my thing. That's going to be part of it too. So I just appreciate you spending some time with me. Make sure to like and subscribe before you leave, and we will see you on the next one.